Hello and welcome back to Boulder Bookstore. Happy 2021, everybody! We made it this far. My name is Olivia Edmonds-Diaz. I'm the Education Services Manager here at the store, and today I am coming back with another If You Liked That, Read This video of book recommendations. As you may have noticed on Netflix, there is a very hot new show called Bridgerton. And Bridgerton, as you may or may not know, is actually based on a beloved romance novel series by Julia Quinn. And the show is fantastic. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Would like to point out though, despite it being a gorgeous period piece, this is probably not something to watch with the whole family. It gets pretty steamy, so just keep that in mind. And the books I'm going to be recommending today reflect that as well. So again, just kind of keep in mind here, we're looking at some open door storytelling that are going to get a little bit more explicit in the sexual situations. We're going to jump right in. Of course, the first book I'm going to recommend is indeed the first book in the Bridgerton series, which is called The Duke and I. So this book is going to be pretty much the first season. We are following Simon and Daphne as they pretend to fall in love, and then of course actually do. This book is fantastic. It's a great introduction to the entire Bridgerton family, and this series follows the Bridgerton siblings throughout the next several books as they take turns falling in love, getting into some pretty hilarious circumstances, and overall maintaining the love they have as a family. One thing I would like to point out though with the show and the book, the television show is rightfully being lauded for its diverse cast and storytelling. It's fantastic. It's great. The book series, Bridgerton series, is not racially diverse. Books were written a number of years ago. Just sort of something to keep in mind that if you appreciated Bridgerton for its racial diversity, you're not going to find that in the books. But I do have an author that I would specifically recommend if you loved the diverse romance and the storytelling of that. So it's fine that they're different in that way, but just keep in mind, this is not going to be so racially diverse, but it's still great. So speaking of racially diverse, there's a fantastic Black romance writer named Alyssa Cole. And to be honest, everything she writes is gold. You could not go wrong with anything you want to pick up. But today I'm going to highlight her most recent romance release. So this is the first in a new series that she's doing. And this one is called How to Catch a Queen. It is part of her Runaway Royals series. And these are really great. She's doing sort of fictionalized contemporary monarchies. So we have a king and queen of a fictional country, but it's again contemporary time, so you've got kind of lots of fun comments about social media and contemporary politics and how that affects running a kingdom. But we have a king who marries a queen because he has to, for no other reason. This is not a love match. And he really, really, really does not want to be king. And he keeps trying to run away. It's obviously impacting their marriage. This is a fun romance, very steamy. You get to follow these two as they fall in love, and it ends up becoming a love match. But it's Alyssa Cole, which means that she does not shy away from talking about politics and how historically minorities have been undervalued, specifically in the government, that if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu. So these are all really great. Alyssa Cole in general, fantastic, but be sure to pick up How to Catch a Queen. Some more historical romance, if part of what you enjoyed about Bridgerton is the period part of that. So Sarah MacLean writes a lot of historical romance. This is her most recent, Daring and the Duke. This is actually the third book in a trilogy. You don't have to start at book one, but it's certainly great. And if you enjoy this one, I would say definitely go back, read book one, because characters kind of pop up in all three. So in this one, it's part of the Bare Knuckle Bastards series. So the Bare Knuckle Bastards, we have a group of 3 men here. And each book, a different one of the brothers falls in love. And this one would be a great next read if you enjoyed some of the rough and tumble that happened in Bridgerton. We had one of the characters was a boxer, and so there were quite a few boxing matches throughout. So this book definitely gets a little bit more into sort of the London underground and some like illegal gambling, boxing matches, what have you. But they're all great. Again, Sarah McLean, great choice across the board. But be sure to check out Daring and the Duke. More historical romance. Tessa Dare, again, just an A+ recommended author across the board. This is one of my favorites of hers. It's called Romancing the Duke. So in this one, we have a woman who is getting to be on the shelf because she's a whopping 26 years old, and is probably on the path to being a spinster for the rest of her life because, you know, who would marry a 26-year-old? And so in this one, she essentially ends up accidentally coming across the path of a duke. She and he fall in love. There are, of course, a number of kind of misunderstood situations, but this one's really great because the heroine is sort of running out of options, right? Like she doesn't have a title, she doesn't have a place of her own, and she needs help. And then she meets this duke completely by chance who is also in need of assistance because he is unwed and therefore is in danger of losing his home, losing his title. So the two of them end up helping each other out. Again, very similar to Bridgerton, in which Daphne and Simon have entered into a mutual agreement to help one another out. So Romancing the Duke, so fun, great next read. Tessa Dare also just so good. For something a little bit different, Outlander by Diana Capaldi. This is, I laugh because Outlander has featured in a number of our If You Liked That, Read This videos. So we'll see just how frequently she can appear. Outlander is great. Again, we're looking at historical fiction. There is a romance. This story is so much centered around the love between Jamie and Claire. Certainly a different time period, different location. This is going to be less about the sort of glitz and glamour of court, which the previous books I recommended definitely fall more under that category. But if you fell in love with Bridgerton for the love story, you will fall in love with Outlander as well. And this is a great read because there's a lot of books. It is an ongoing series still, so you certainly have room to go. And then there's, of course, the hit TV series. So if you're looking to do some more reading and watching kind of concurrently, Outlander is a great next choice. Also would like to recommend HRH, So Many Thoughts on Royal Style. So this one's a little bit different. It is actually a coffee table book. So this is definitely nonfiction. And Elizabeth Holmes, who has a great Instagram account in which she comments on contemporary royal fashion, specifically usually following the British royal family, so the Queen, Diana, Elizabeth, Catherine, and Meghan. And in this book, she takes kind of her popular Instagram commentary on the royal fashion, and she makes it into this incredible book that's actually readable, which is pretty unusual for a coffee table book. So this is something that will both look pretty on your shelf or your table, but it's also something you can curl up with a hot cup of tea and read and learn about royal style. This would make a great gift book, and I would really encourage, if you're gonna, I think it's easy to write off royal fashion and women's fashion as something frivolous and unnecessary and boring, but this book definitely highlights the challenges involved, the importance of diplomatic dressing, and again, we're looking at some glitz and some glamour, which is definitely tying in here with our Bridgerton society. So if you're looking for some more royalty, I would definitely recommend HRH. So those are all the books I'd like to recommend today, but I can't go away without reminding you that we have a new romance book club here at Boulder Bookstore. We are, of course, meeting virtually these days. This month, we are reading Under the Alaskan Ice by Karen Harper. So we meet on the last Monday of every month at 7 p.m. We'll have a link to the book club below if you'd like to get the Zoom login information and read more about the book, which is available now at Boulder Bookstore. So that's it for me today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.